Slumpbusters, it is time to talk about the best rivalry in baseball. Yes, if you like that Red Sox-Yankees rivalry from a couple days ago, then stay tuned because we're talking about a rivalry that goes 131 years, two different coastlines. How did we get here? Well, the Giants won 107 games, the Dodgers won 106 games, plus one following the Chris Taylor heroics, and then, of course, the Padres choked harder than one of those late-night rendezvous for Trevor Bauer. Oh! But that's neither here nor there, folks. You weren't expecting that one, were you?
Oh.
All right, so these teams, pretty damn even, 10-9 on the year. The season series was electric. They were playing postseason baseball every step of the way in September.
Well, first of all, I want to commend you and your Giants on an incredible regular season. That was a fight to the death. The Dodgers, I mean, nothing to be ashamed of, finishing at 106. I know a lot of Dodger fans are disappointed, but for me, you finish 106 game season, you can't be upset about it the way you finish. Obviously, it's disappointing not winning the division, but I mean, what a run that was. What a season-long battle. And honestly, going into it, we thought that, I'll say it for myself, I thought the biggest competition would be the Padres, but obviously we know what happened there. Too bad, so sad. Sorry, Megan. I know she's listening, so gotta get my jab in there somehow, which anyway, let's get back to the Dodgers here. Amazing walk-off win last night. As you can tell, my voice is still a little weak from there, although a little warming back a little bit up to my regular voice, but insane night last night. First time that the Dodgers have played in a one-game wild card elimination game, and then since they, implemented it back, I want to say, what was it, 2013?
Yeah, 2014, I know the Giants had to win against the Pirates in a wild card game. So it might have been like 1 year or 2 years before that.
It's even crazier to think about, and everyone's talking about it, that this is the first playoff matchup between the Giants and the Dodgers. And it's just crazy to think that one of the best rivalries in baseball, right next to Red Sox, Yankees, and they've had countless meetings in the postseason. And the fact that the Dodgers and Giants are so heated, there hasn't even been a postseason matchup. And I was asking my dad, who grew up on Long Island watching the Brooklyn Dodgers, loving them. It is the reason why I'm a huge Dodgers fan. And he said just with the way the leagues were set up, where only one team from each league could even make the playoffs or the World Series back then. So that's basically the reason why there hasn't been a lot of postseason matchup between these two teams. But I mean, you can't ask for much better as far as the NL West and just an amazing regular season. I mean, the two best records in baseball. And I feel like we're being robbed that this is the NLDS right here, but it
should have been 7 games.
Exactly. We're gonna be robbed of it should be a 7-game series. It should be the National League Championship Series. Because honestly, my maybe not so hot take, but I'll say it anyway. Whoever wins this series is going to go to the World Series. I just, with all due respect to the Braves and the Brewers and what they were able to do this season, especially the Braves losing Acuna Jr., I just don't see them matching up with either team. I don't think it'll be a sweep, but I do think it'll be a fairly easy pennant matchup there.
What would your Dodgers need to do to win this one? What's it going to take? Who's going to have to step up for them?
I mean, everybody's got to step up. Yesterday showed a lot of promise for me. I think big time was the bullpen really stepping up and locking it down. Max Scherzer obviously going out in the 5th inning, which he didn't want to do, but they stepped up big time, held it down. The bats need to show up. This Dodgers offense is electric. When they are on, they are on. But when they go mute, they go mute. And that was the frustrating thing. And also capitalizing on pivotal moments, like having runners in scoring position. Like last night, when you have the bases loaded and Trey Turner is up to bat, and he's literally batting 500 with bases loaded and had just 2 grand slams in the past week. And of course, he hits the ball in the exact one place where it would lead into a double play. You got to be able to capitalize on those moments. It's honestly a tale as old as time for Dodgers fans, is leaving runners on in scoring position. And honestly, the starting rotation needs to be consistent. They have been for the most part. Walker Buehler's got the ball game 1. He's been a little shaky as of late, even after a really strong season, but it just really feels like August and September, he's kind of struggled a little bit, whether that's, change of grip. I know he's been trying out a couple new pitches near the end of the season, but he needs to have a strong start game 1. he is going to be taking at least one of those games in San Francisco. You don't want to go down 0-2 and then come back. The Dodgers have come back from being down 3-1, but you don't want to have to deal with that situation. So steal one of those games. You got Julio on Saturday. They just need to play their game and they're going to be fine. But the Giants are sure enough not going to make it easy on them. I'm expecting a great series, but yeah, the Dodgers need to be firing on all cylinders. And the one guy I was really impressed with yesterday was Cody Bellinger, really working the plate very well. He's taken a lot of criticism this year, and rightfully so. He has been slumping big time, and everyone calling for him to be demoted to AAA, everyone calling for him to be benched. And, you know, you're the 2019 National League MVP. You're facing a lot of criticism there. People are calling you a one-hit wonder. I get it. It can't be easy to do, but he has dealt with that criticism with such grace, and stealing 2 bases yesterday, getting in scoring position, making it more comfortable for Chris Taylor at the plate in the bottom of the 9th, 2 outs. Beautifully executed. It needs to be a really big team effort, and I'm looking forward to it.
Very big steals last night, of course, off one of the greats, Yadier Molina. As far as what the Giants need to do to win this series, you mentioned the Dodgers stealing games in San Francisco. The Giants need to defend home. One of the fruits of your labor for winning 107 games and winning the division is you get home field advantage. So Logan Webb, in his first postseason start, the 24-year-old, I'm older than 24-year-old Logan Webb out here, he's going to have to line up. He's going to have to be a true ace. And that goes for Kevin Gausman as well. Kevin Gausman also making his first postseason start. Both of these guys have been legitimate aces throughout the year. Logan Webb has the ERA in the 2s against the Dodgers, whereas Gausman, his ERA is rather inflated versus the Dodgers as opposed to the rest of the National League. Gausman's season-long ERA is sitting in the 2s, whereas his ERA against the Dodgers is sitting in the 3s. I am a little bit concerned about Gabe Kapler as his manipulation of the bullpen tends to go. Obviously, things didn't go great for Gabe in Philadelphia. So that's kind of the things for the Giants' success. I think the veterans definitely need to lead the way as well. Of course, you have Buster Posey, Brandon Crawford, guys that have been on World Series teams. The fact that we don't have Brandon Belt in the lineup is one of those things that's going to hurt us. And I think another big benefit, obviously, for the Giants in this one is you guys are missing Max Muncy. Max Muncy had 8 home runs against the Giants this year. Talk about ownage. Yeah. The alternative, it would have been seeing Arenado and Goldschmidt in the NLDS. So I'm actually glad you guys eliminated the Cardinals for that reason. But facing Max Muncy and the Dodgers ain't much better. And you mentioned Walker Buehler. He has owned the Giants as well. He has an ERA of 2.66 and 11 starts against the Giants, 7-1 against them in his career. The only loss came on September 5th when the Giants were able to tag him up for 7 runs, which is very uncharacteristic. So whatever they found, magic in the bottle that day against Walker Buehler, they have to repeat in San Francisco. All right, Annie, I'm going to ask you, what is the biggest thing that causes concern for you? What is the thing that you think the Dodgers may do, or things that give you nightmares at night when you think about this series?
I mean, leaving runners in scoring position or just inconsistency at the plate. Like I said before, there were games this year, especially early on, where the bats would just pop off and win games 11-1 outright in the 4th inning. Or God forbid that Angels game where we were up 13 runs and the Angels came back and tied it, and the Dodgers by the skin of their teeth won in extra innings, which...
Slight interjection, Kenley Jansen's career numbers against the Giants are rather gross if you really look into them.
You know, Kenley, I gotta give Kenley a lot of credit. I've been a critic of him just because, you're putting him in certain situations where he can't succeed, and that relies on Dave Roberts a little bit. But I think, like I said, I'm very confident in that bullpen, but they need to keep it up. You can't go into the postseason not confident in every person in that bullpen when you're bringing them out. Well-managed game from Dave Roberts yesterday, but the big thing is going to be at the plate. We've got the rotation to win this series, I think, by far. If they do their job, they hold it down at the plate. We just need the bats to show up. Especially yesterday, it was being tied 1-1 for the majority of the game. It's just so aggravating because there's opportunities and chances, and luckily they had a few bad bounces against a very defensively played St. Louis Cardinals team. They're one of the best in the league at that. But also, I mean, I will tell you, if there was anyone that I would least like to play in a 1-game wild card series out of anybody in the National League this year, it would have been the St. Louis Cardinals, just because they went on that insane streak there. They're one of the hottest teams in baseball. They could have easily won that game, but luckily it went our way. And honestly, but this was meant to be. The baseball gods wanted to give this rivalry series to us, and it's so long overdue. This is what baseball is all about. This is going to be, the division series to watch.
All right. The one thing that's concerning me about the Giants here is their game 3 starter. At the moment, that could be Alex Wood. That could be Anthony DeSclafani. That could be Johnny Cueto. And neither of those options are really appealing behind Gausman and Webb. DeSclafani this year against the Dodgers has an ERA in the 7.33 across 6 starts. And the only victory in terms of the Giants winning games that he started was that 11th inning game earlier in the month that it took a bad throw by Chris Taylor for the Giants to end up winning that one.
Yeah.
When it comes to Johnny Cueto, he had a 5 2/3 inning shutout against the Dodgers, but he's obviously the older guy of the rotation. He's the veteran that's kind of been beat up by injuries. And then Alex Wood, best case scenario, you're getting 4 to 5 innings out of him. That's where things start getting weird. That's why it's so important for Webb and Gausman to give the Giants that 2-game lead, because once it gets to the 3rd starter in the rotation, you know it's going to be pretty much a bullpen game for the Giants, regardless of whether it's DeSclafani, Webb, or Cueto. So that's the things that kind of concern me. Of course, I mentioned Gabe Kapler's manipulation of the bullpen. And then if they can get to the starters, I will give your Dodgers some credit here. Your guys' bullpen just absolutely loaded. When you talk about Gonsolin, Knievel, Bickford, Trinan, Gatterall, these guys all just come out there just throwing absolute bullets. So Joe Kelly, let's get into it. Final game prediction. Andy O'Donnell, I know which direction you're going to lean here. Probably. There's going to be a little personal bias, but how many games?
Absolutely. There's going to be personal bias here, but I do think this is going to be a fight to the end series. This is going to go the full 5 games. I am going to go Dodgers in 5, and I'm very comfortable with that prediction.
And I'm going to match you on the opposite end of things. Giants in 5. Either way, you know this. The margins have been so thin this year. You talk about a Mike Tauchman stealing Albert Pujols over the fence. You talk about a Darren Ruff, no swing, yes swing. You talk about, like I mentioned, the Chris Taylor pull off the bag. That is how thin these games have been. The Dodgers have barely outscored the Giants throughout the year by 4.6 to 4.5 runs per game. This is going to be an absolute banger. I wish it was the NLCS, but it is what it is. Anyway, guys, you know what to do. You got to like this video. You got to comment below. Let us know your series predictions. Are you pro Annie? Are you pro Dodgers? Are you pro Juju? Are you pro Giants? Let us know in the comments below. Check out Annie's channel, OD on Sports. Find her on all major streaming platforms. Annie O'Donnell does fantastic work. Very entertaining on Twitter. Very entertaining on TikTok. Give her a look. Slumpbusters, check out our partners, cavemancoffeeco.com. Come on, don't be a chump. Use promo code SLUMP at cavemancoffeeco.com for some delicious cold brew coffee at cavemancoffeeco.com. All right, Annie, give me a go Dodgers. I'll give you a go Giants on 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Go Giants!
Dodgers!